I don't know how to start these things, but my name is Alyssa Murray. I'm a diamond, and I just want to take you guys through the kind of ABCs, basic beginner type stuff to making your own story content on Over. If you plan to use stories for Over or I'm sorry, not for Over, but to grow your business and to really market yourself, you really want to make sure that you're not just getting blurry pictures off Pinterest. Not that Pinterest can't be like a great tool, but you really want to set yourself apart and make sure that the pictures that you're using are clear, they're unique, that they are clean and inviting. And that's kind of like my justification or like my basis for teaching you guys this tonight. Because I heard a top leader say on a Zoom one time, like, if you've got blurry stories, nobody's clicking through those. So you really got to learn to make your own. It's algorithm friendly to make your own. So I'm going to take you through the basics of a couple different like avenues to do this. I use Over for everything when it comes to stories. Instead of using Instagram for the most part, as far as like text and cute little graphics, I tend to kind of veer away from that and move more into utilizing Over just to make it cuter, make it pop more, and set it apart. I had a distributor join me one time, and she said, the reason that I joined you is because your story was so much different than everybody else's. It wasn't just a regular Instagram story. It wasn't just, the run of the mill everyday thing. It looked different. It looked professional. And I knew that I wanted to join you because of that. So when you can take something like Over and not overcomplicate it, but just do it to make your stories just a little bit different, you're going to see a difference in the amount of people that are looking at your stories. So I'm going to take you through the basics of it, not to overcomplicate it. I do have the pro version. If you can swing it, I 1000% recommend it. Like, I don't know if you got to cut out Spotify or what you got to do, but it's 1000% worth it, because Over will start to take away things from you. I noticed when I had the free version, I'd fall in love with a font, the font would go away. So the pro version just opens you up to so much more. You can really just like have 1000% like creative control over whatever you're making. So it really is totally worth it. So if you can swing it, if you need to sell some keto coffee or a wrap, do it, because Over Pro is worth it. So I'm going to screen share just to go ahead and jump right in and teach you guys exactly like step by step what I do to make make my own content on Over. So I basically, and before I get into that, I use Over for product stories. I use it for opportunity stories, but I also use it for everyday stuff. So I'm going to kind of show you guys what I do with that as well. So let me go ahead and screen mirror. TikTok. Okay, I'm getting the spinning wheel of death. But while we're doing that, I'll just kind of like bring you through like kind of the different avenues I take with it while I'm waiting for it to load. You can actually, like, one thing that's nice about Over is they have either templates that are already made, which I don't typically use those very much just because I feel like they're more geared towards like ads or invitations, things like that. But they also have like a little aspect where you can use like a preset template. So what this is it's like kind of like not a blank canvas, but they have an area where you can just add in pictures. You can make it your own, but it gives you kind of like that basic. Oh, you know what? I didn't click share screen on here. That's why it's not working. Okay. Had a blind moment. Here we go. But I'll take you guys through that real quick. Over. So the discover page is going to be the first thing you kind of come up to. I don't ever use this, to be honest with you. If you want to get into the depths of Over, by all means, like, go through the depths. But I use only two things really here at the bottom. I use templates right here, which again, if you want to, if you're new to Over and you're trying to just kind of figure things out, you can go through these and toy around with them. Oh, is it not? Come on now.
Dice que cuando lo castigan es con el cheque.
Can you guys make sure you're muted, please? Let me see what's going on with this. If not, phone to the thing. Let me see here. Cancel. Let me try this again. Let me try to hook this up one more time. Share screen. If not, if it doesn't work this time, I'll just show you guys based off of the screen. There we go. Okay, so these are like the preset templates that they have for people. You can kind of go through these, click on them, kind of toy around with them. Why is it not showing my actual video? You know what? I don't know what's going on with this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show, oh wait, there it goes. It's just slow. Okay, so you can click on these and actually, when it takes a second, it might be my Wi-Fi here that night, but you can click on these, you can add your own photos to them, you can add your own text, you can kind of make them your own. It's easier, I guess you could say, for like beginners to kind of figure out what you're doing with Over. Personally, I don't use these, like I said. I feel like I just have more creative control when I'm doing my own. So that's why I just kind of like veer away from these, but you can literally scroll through, like there's probably thousands on there. So you can find something. If you're in kind of like a creative funk, you can find something that works for you. I'm going to stop messing around with that portion of it and just go into kind of like create mode. And if this doesn't start kind of like showing up in the next 5 seconds for me, I'm just going to show you guys based on my phone and see if I can get a good, okay. Yeah, that's perfect. I'm going to stop this and just do it the old fashioned way. So you'll see if you go to let me go back, the little plus button right here. If you click that, it's going to bring you to this page where it has like featured layouts. So if you can kind of go through here and you see there's a lot of different ones to choose from what you can see from the brightness of my phone. So if I were to click on, let's say this one, I used this the other day. You can click on it. You can see it. Okay, so it pulls up. It gives you kind of like that basic layout. So then you just click on the image part and you can put your own pictures into it. So let's say I wouldn't necessarily use this, but just to show you guys. So you can kind of toy around and put your own images in there. Click on that. And that just gives you something to work with if you are just getting to know Over, you're kind of confused with how to work it. It gives you just a good avenue to kind of like start getting used to that kind of stuff. I swear, this technology tonight. So you can see like I've got my own pictures in there. You can click on the font right here and change it. Writing just whatever, let's say Radiance, because I had a picture of Radiance there. So you can just add a little, like add your own font and stuff like that. And kind of make it your own. It's easy, it's simple. They've already got it laid out so that you have like a nice, pretty, clean cut way of getting like your story done without having to do all of the creative aspects. So again, that's super simple, and you can continue to add stuff to this too. You don't have to use just what they have. So if you were to click, let's say text right here, it'll pop up there. You can write hyaluronic acid, let's say serum. You can change the font if you just scroll to the side there, and it gives you a lot to choose from. Again, if you're using the free version, you still have a lot to choose from there. So it's not like you have to have the pro version. It's just you're going to get a lot more with the pro version, to be quite honest. So you can kind of move it around that way, center it, make it your own. One thing that people use a lot with this is if you click on it, once it's there, you'll see there's a little scrolly thing at the bottom here. If you go down, you can do a lot of different things here, but one thing that I tend to use a lot is the being able to adjust like how translucent it is. You can do it that way just to like make some font stand out ahead of like other font, or you can use the shadow one right here to kind of help it stand off of the page some. Granted, this is a black background, so you're not going to see it like you would on a white background. But you can also, like, let's say you wanted a colorful shadow. Let's see here, it's giving me some options. So you can see it's kind of standing off of the page some, if you can see that from here. So that's one way to just kind of make images look a little bit more 3D, stand out some, so that you're, again, like making content that people are going to like focus their attention on. That's all I'm going to spend on, just kind of like the preset templates. You can play around with them. But I want to really like spend some time kind of going into like how to create your own content, like starting from scratch. I'm going to try to screen share just one more time, just for, giggles, to see if it works, just so I can show you guys from start to finish how that works. It really is nice because you can completely like fit it to your personality, like however you imagine your stories to be, as long as, again, they're clean, they're not super busy and in your face. It really is a really awesome feature. So you're going to click the plus button. We'll see. Okay, we're in business. I like to go over to a white background and start that way. We'll see if it kind of catches up with me here. If not, I'll have to just do things old-fashioned. Let's see here. Is it, Meredith, is it showing up like quicker for you guys, or is it just lagging on my end? It just seems to be going slow. There we go.
It's kind of lagging, but I mean, it's loading. I mean,
Okay.
it says choose a size. Is that the page that you're on, original?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I always go to, since I'm using them for stories, I always go to story. Like, I don't want to make a square graphic and then have it not fit the screen of an Instagram story. So I always go to story. You click the little plus or the check at the top. So for me personally, I like to get some background kind of graphics going first, or like images, just kind of like get my gears on what I'm doing. So before this, like before I started the Zoom, I went to our website, and the company's done some really like made it easy for us, essentially, because everything on the website is against a white background. So if you see those like graphics on Pinterest and stuff where they have the products there and it looks super advanced, it's really not. So all you do is click image here at the bottom. I have some already set, so we'll go to, I should have cropped that, but I'll show you a cool tool actually, since I didn't crop it. So here we have Radiant Serum. So I'm going to make this big right here. Typically you can just crop this and it's fine, but I'm going to show you like a cool tool that I like to use when I'm like trying to blend pictures together. If you scroll this bottom part down here, whoops, and go to mask, you can actually blend it into the white background. So it's already set to this like white, like solid one. You can do the kind of like blurry one too. But for this one, I'll just do this one, and you just rub it over that. And it makes all of that disappear. You guys will catch up with me in a second. Granted, this image, like, I should have cropped it beforehand, but it's whatevs. But that's how you can like just kind of get rid of all of that. And there you now just have that clean image right there. So that's one way to do that. I'm just going to leave it kind of that way for the sake of this Zoom. And then you just click the arrow at the top, and now you've got that image there. So you can kind of move it around a little bit. I then like to add, I'm sure you guys have seen like the story ones with like the paint streaks and stuff like that. So you're going to find that under graphic down at the bottom. Now it gives you tons and tons of graphics to choose from. I like to keep it simple. I mean, I have 2 kids. I don't necessarily have time to just be like playing around and over as much as I'd like to. So I know when I've got some free time, I'm going to be saving things to my collections down here where you can see collected. All you do to do that is, like, if I'm seeing up here under quick search, like gold, for example, I like to use a lot of gold in my story. So I'm going to click that. and it gives me immediately like different like gold themes to choose from. So they have some collections at the top that I've kind of been dabbling in a little bit more. I'm going to talk for a second while y'all's thing catches up with mine. But they have like collections at the top once you get to that portion, if y'all ever get there. So slow. But we'll see. Oh, something happened, I suppose. 1 second. That's why it was so slow. But you don't have to. You can basically search any sort of graphic you're looking for. Like, let's say you're looking for coffee. You can just type coffee in, and there's a wide range of things to choose from there. Same thing with like paint stroke or glitter. Really anything that your heart is set out for, you can find there. Why are you unable to connect? Let's see if my Wi-Fi is on. I might have to show you the old-fashioned way. My phone's something's doing something. I'm not gonna mess with this anymore. Let's see here. Okay, so you can see kind of like it gives you at the top here like these collections you can choose from, or you can just simply scroll through and lots of different gold type things will pop up. So I like to use a lot of like glitter, like kind of gold sprays of gold, I guess you could call it. So you just would click on it and it's going to immediately pop up on it. Let's see here. You can see it popped up. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. Let me see if this will allow it again, because it's just so much easier to show you guys when it's that way. So I know you guys are seeing it. Let me see if it pops up. Okay, it's telling me now that it for sure can't work. So we'll just do it this way. But yeah, so you can kind of move it around anywhere on here. Again, you have anything you really want to choose from. You can make it big, you can make it small. And the thing that's nice about these graphics too is, let's say you feel like it's just like kind of standing out on the page a little bit too much. Good Lord have mercy. Let me turn my thing all the way down. Okay, so let's say you feel like it's just kind of like standing out a little bit too much. What you can do is you can actually go to the, again, this is so frustrating to me. Sorry, all these technological things are happening. But you can adjust how much it stands out at the bottom. So yeah, if you just scroll at the bottom, they have lots of different options there that you can kind of either mask it, you can blur it, you can change the color of it, but I'll be honest with you, I don't tend to do this just because it looks really fake and weird. Like if I were to sit here and change the color of this right now, you can see it looks really unnatural. Well, if you're not looking for glitter, it's fine, but it goes to more of like a paint splatter look rather than gold. So it's just kind of different, I guess you could say. But you can do that. So you can kind of mess around with that. Let me see if I can put some paint. I'm going to discard changes on that just because it was interesting. But let's put, is this all making sense so far? So we'll put a sunshine there just because it's easy and it's right there. So then what you can do is you just click, anytime you're making like a change or anything, just click that little check up at the top. But then if you hit text at the bottom, that's when you can start adding like info to the page as far as like text, product info, and it will give you fonts to choose from at the bottom. Now, if you have the pro version, and really not even the pro version, I think the free version does this as well. But if you scroll all the way to the end here, you're going to see as you can see, I have a lot of fonts. Get more right there, and it's going to take you to the font screen where you can choose different fonts. So like, let's say I were to click on this one right here, I can then go through and choose which fonts I want to have. So let's see here. One that I like. That one looks fine. So then as soon as you click it, it's going to take you right back and show whatever you've typed in that font. So you can go right back to it. If you have typed like something already written up there and you're like, I really want to see how it looks on the graphic with that. I'm not sure which font that I want to use, but let me see how it looks on the graphic. You can go ahead and click it on there. And then at the bottom, you'll see it's already showing up like different fonts. Some fonts have different versions of themselves that you can scroll up and down with. But if you're looking to see like what a completely different font family looks like, just scroll to the side and it's going to change it immediately for you. Let's see, I got the color somehow. Okay, font. So that first one. So you just scroll kind of side to side and it will show you how the different fonts look on your page. And then again, you can scroll to the side. Let me find a bold font so you guys can see it well. So you can scroll to the side down here. You can change colors. You can put a shadow on it. I always click angle. And then immediately if you click blur right after it, you can adjust like the blurriness of the back like shadow so that it's not too overpowering. And then you can kind of just move that around wherever. Something I like to do just to like kind of make it different is I will have like a really bold font like that. I'll make it nice and kind of blur it out a little. And then I'll take a cursive font right under it. See here. And this one actually has a cursive font that goes with it. And I will put that right under it. This one's, and kind of, you can kind of put it right under it. So something to just kind of mix up fonts, make it look different. I'm going to show you guys some like projects and stuff that I have just to show you like some of the graphics that I do. It's really that simple. Like it's just going back and forth between graphics and text. You can, and adding images. One thing you can do, unfortunately, you can't do this if you have the free version, but you can do this if you have the pro version. Oh, I just saved that to my project. So let me show you here. So for example, when I enroll a loyal customer under the Lose More, Do More challenge, I already have like a little template that I use. So all that I have to do, I don't have to go make something new. I literally just go right in there to this. And again, unfortunately, this little cool iPhone thing, I think you can only do that if you have Pro, which I can show you guys how to do that real quick. But all I do is simply go into this and I'll move my little iPhone out of the way. Hold on. And then I'll hold down on the picture and this will pop up and you just click replace. And then I'll put the new screenshot, which I just took a fake one from my phone. You put the new screenshot there and then just put the little iPhone thing over it. Now, it's not going to fit perfectly. So then what you're going to do is then go down where that pops up at the bottom, scroll all the way to the end where it says mask. And you just zoom on in and kind of cut those edges. Oops, it's on the iPhone. Which actually brings me to a good point. If you're trying to edit different layers, just click these three squares up here at the top, and it will easily allow you to just choose something so you're not trying to like poke something and you're getting the wrong thing. Just click like, for example, I want to hide the edges of this screenshot right here. So I click on that and then it's automatically on it. So now I'm just cleaning up those edges down here and up here. I don't want to go in too far because then it's going to take the whole screenshot off, which if you make a mistake, you can just click that back button. But I just want to take those little edges off the top. Well, you get what I'm saying. You can zoom in some and just kind of creep in there and take those little corner pieces off so that it legit looks like an iPhone right there. So that's what I do with that. It's a pre-saved template already that I've done in the past, and I just simply go in and redo it. I put some text at the bottom that just says, my girl Neely decided to make her New Year's resolution bigger than herself and is committed to feeding starving children. At the top, it says, lose more, do more. It's as simple as that. Now, I didn't do some crazy things to make this template. I went in, I have a white background. I went in and found some just tribal like graphic. That's really all I typed in. I picked a different color, which again, to do that, you just kind of, I'll show you. So I can click this and it says edit. Then I'll just go to color right here. It's typically like the very first thing that pops up. And you can click either the ones that are already there, or you can go to the color wheel, kind of find what works for whatever theme you're going for. So I'm gonna exit out of this so I have my same thing. If you click the X at the top, you can just discard changes. So yeah, so that's really all there is to it. And it helps too. I find that, especially if you're looking to just kind of like get things done quickly, you don't want to spend a ton of time constantly making new graphics. Make a couple and then keep using those ones in different ways. Like this is my LC one almost, well, this is my lose more, do more LC one. I also have my everyday LC one that I use that, again, it's the same concept. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. I didn't do like any like crazy graphics and stuff. I just went to graphics down here, searched for floral, like any sort of floral. Let's see, I'll show you guys. So you can just type in floral. That doesn't spell floral. There we go. And search. And it's going to pop up a bunch of different things. And you can just scroll through and find whatever speaks to your heart and put it on your story. As soon as you click it, it will pop up on there. And you can, again, adjust size, put it wherever you want to. If you decide, oh, that looks horrible, I don't want that on there, just simply press the X and discard changes. Let me plug my Mac in real quick before I lose everybody here. And that's really all there is to doing kind of the product end of things. Now, what I do is like, if I feel like I'm in a creative funk and I just cannot think of something to make, I will look at other people's stories and I won't like screenshot them and post them as my own, so to speak, but I will make my own version of it. So it's almost like having a template that you can use for yourself off of that. But let me go back and show you. So like with this one, again, I just have the screenshot background of, I make sure literally if I know a loyal customer is signing up, I make sure that I do not open my phone until that notification comes through. Like if I know they're right there, like obviously if they're like, hey, can I have my link? And then don't sit there with your phone shut for 5 hours. But I'm just saying, like, if you know they're right there and the notification is about to pop up, I like to make sure that's right there so that I have that clean screen so that I can immediately screenshot it and put it in my little iPhone thing. I try to change this based on the season. So clearly it's like December, or it's not, oh God, it's January, whatever. So I like to make it look a little bit more wintry and pretty. So I just have a paint smear across the back. I put some font over the top of it, and then put at the bottom, thank you for your order. Something as simple as last night during the bedtime craziness, I got my girl Haley set up with some fat burning coffee. This just shows people that you're constantly like enrolling and getting like new enrollments coming in. It's good to just show people like what's going on with your business. Again, you can kind of move things around and change it up a little bit. Hold on. So if I wanted to like move it over a little bit or put it back up in the corner, I can do that. So you can make things different. It's totally up to you. But it's really like simple. You've just got to take the time to kind of really like play around with it. One thing I've been doing, and I'm gonna show you guys real quick, is instead of, like I said at the beginning, using just typical like Instagram font, or, you know, what have you, I've been doing it in over. Like I'll take the video or the picture in Instagram with the effect, and then I'll save it to my phone and bring it over to Over and do things like this. Here's a good example. So I've been doing a lot of smoothies with greens lately. So I'll take like a video of me doing that, and then I will, to do that, hold on, let me go back. So if you click that plus button again and go to video right here, you can then add in a video. Let me try to start from scratch. Okay, here's a good one. So you can turn, if you've got toddlers talking in the background, like clearly I do in this, you can just click that little button at the bottom. It immediately turns the sound off, so that if you're using music on Instagram or anything like that, you can immediately like just exit out that sound. You can edit the clip there if you want to. I typically don't do that because I know that, like, since I'm already taking my videos in Instagram, I know that they're within the 15 seconds. So then you click the check mark at the top, and then it brings you here. So it's the same thing like with making images in Over. You can go down here to graphics. I like to use like a good like kind of like either glitter or like a paint thing across the bottom. So I'm going to click paint just to show you guys. And again, it will bring up collections at the top if you want to see like a lot of like stuff that's similar, or you can just scroll until you see something that speaks to you. I'll go with this blue one for now. And again, you can kind of adjust the sizing. I like to, when I'm doing this, a lot of the times I will go and make it more see-through so that it's not just taking up a portion at the bottom, and it makes it less like in your face, but you know that it's there. And then I will take some, I'm going to move that around a little bit. I will take, actually, let me go right there. And then what I'll do is I will take some font. So click text. Let's say making my greens, I don't know. So I'll just type something. I'll select the font that I want. I stick to basically the same fonts every time, so I know that I really don't gotta like look for much. And then click the check mark. It will show up in the middle. I move it down here, and I basically just adjust it until I feel like it looks good. So you got that font right there. I usually always, again, scroll to the bottom and put that shadow on it so that it stands out a little bit more on the page, and then save it. And again, it's really like that simple. Like you can add different graphics to it. You can do really whatever you want to with that. There's also preset templates on that first page that I showed y'all. So like if I were to exit out of all of this and go to that first little thing that says templates, they have, or I'm sorry, not templates, that first little plus mark thing. If you scroll, they have ones that have a little play button that you can put a video in. So like this one, for example, I could put a video. I would just tap that. It's bringing me automatically to my videos. And so I would basically just choose one. So like here's a boomerang from Instagram. Click that, and then it's immediately going into the video like template. So it's super easy. You don't have to do a bunch of stuff if you're still new to Over and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. It makes it so much more simpler. You can then just tap it, write in berry green smoothie. I don't know. Be a little bit more creative than that, but just for showing y'all. So then you can do that, make it bigger. And then of course, if you just click it and click edit, you can then go through and see what different fonts look like until you find one that you like. So let's see here, that one's okay. And then let's say that like you get to this point and you want to add a graphic and you want it to be under the text. All you would do in that case is go to graphic, click something. We'll do something floral, I guess. Click that. So you see how like it would just kind of, well, this is a bad example because it's a thing. But let's say you want the video to be in front of this floral text right here. all you do is click those layers again at the top, and you can move them around. So let's say you just click, oops. So there'll be like 3 lines here, click on them, and then just simply drag it down, which it won't let me do. The video was a bad example, but let's say you want the text to be in front of it. You would just click it, move it below the text. Anything that's down low is going to be behind, if that makes sense. So by moving things down, you're moving them behind things. So if you see here, now, even if I make this smaller, let me get a different floral thing. I shouldn't have chosen that one because it's hard to like tell what I'm talking about. Discord. Let me get a paint thing. So here we go. This is a great example. So here I have this black paint blob. So you see if I move that up, it immediately covers the font. So let's say I want the font to be on the other side. So you would click that, click the 3 lines, and then move this down so that the font is on top. Then when you go back, now it's on top of the black blob thing, you see. So that's how you do that. Let me see if there's anything else really in here that I use. Now, one thing, that's how I do like kind of everyday stuff. Any videos of my kids, I just quickly pop them in there. I have different projects already saved. Anytime you save something, it immediately goes to your projects. So you can see, like, let me find one of the morning time. Anytime I enroll a distributor, I have this one already saved. So then literally all I do is go click on their picture, replace, and then what's going on? Here's where those layers pop in. That makes it easier. So let me find her picture right there. I'm going to click. Sometimes it takes the. Okay, there we go. So you just click replace. It will pop this up. Don't exit out of over like I just did. Here's a picture of Kai. He's my new distributor now, with his adorable little ponytail. So then the picture will automatically pop up there. So then all I do after that is go and click on the text with their name. Well, you got to click the little arrow first. Now just click on the text with their name, change text, and we're going to change it to Kai. And that's literally all you do. And now you've got a whole new welcome message thing without having to make a whole new graphic. So then you just save that, use it. Let's see here. I have one like with my kids. A lot of times I'll do ones with my kids where I'll just have a little bit of minimal font at the bottom. So again, it's not like that same typewriter font that's on Instagram. It's something that stands apart. And then let me show you another example. And then here, like just little things like that. It just looks more clean and professional. And then lastly, I use these for opportunity stories. Again, this kind of just sets you apart, makes things look different. You're not just sharing the same old, like, meet Casey, meet Taylor, meet Meredith, you know, all these ones where it gives somebody else's story. It's helping you to create your own story. You can utilize this just to give like a quick blurb of course, none of these are in order, but you can see like this one. I just give little blurbs here of like what my story is on like 5 to 8 slides. Make it simple. Just go through your story. At the end, put a call to action. And it's as simple as that. Is there anything else, Meredith, you want me to go over? I feel like I covered a good chunk of everything that I do with this.
I don't think so. I didn't realize that you could save templates. That's something new that I did not. And collections too of like things that you've already used, like pre-used. I find that I spend so much time like searching for things, and if I could and I love how cohesive your stories are. So like, it's almost like part of your brand, you know what I mean? Like they do look similar. And so it's like, you can tell that Alyssa makes her own stories, you know, that, and I want to echo what you said at the very beginning of this, that, you know, you said that you had a distributor join your team that was like, your stories were set apart, like it was more professional, whatever. And I've shared this before. I have a friend in a different network marketing company that I had apparently had a lot of people in a similar company, and it was just all stock photos. And the one thing about this girl was she was creating her own content and, you know, putting it in over. And, you know, even though it wasn't our company, it inspired me to, like, I bought the pro version. I was like, it just sets her apart. It like, if I were interested in that, she's who I would reach out to, because I feel like she takes her business seriously. And to me, that is what one thing that could set you apart. It's just another tool to set you apart on your timeline. And as you're growing your audience, because you're likely not the only It Works distributor that they've ever come across. But what is going to set you apart from the person that maybe they've been following for a year, but it just looks kind of spammy to them, you know? Or like Alyssa said, you screenshotted the same thing so many times, it's just so blurry. You can just tell it's not original. It just looks like, oh, you work for some network marketing company. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what people think. So I think when you take the time, and this doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't even have to be super time consuming. I mean, you can set time aside 2 to 3 times a week and just create some content. And like what she says, like you can even, I don't remember if you went over this, but you can even save it to a camera roll. I got this tip from another top leader not too long ago that you can save it to a camera roll, and then you can just go in and edit the actual picture. Like, does that make sense? Like, update your pictures. I do that all the time. So like, I can go back into my saved projects, and if I had a really good story that I got a lot of like votes on polls for, like my actual story, like telling my story, maybe it was 6 months ago and I've had a haircut, or the kids have had haircuts, or it looked, you know, during the summer, and now we're in dead winter, like I need updated pictures for that story. You can still reuse that content, just put new pictures in it, you know? So it doesn't have to be so overthought, I guess is what I'm saying. So anyways, thank you.
Yes, thank you.